What's going on, y'all? It's Jason More Reviews here, back at it again with another video. This time today, bringing you guys the final installment of the SM content, the creative list, with the Mr. Summer Madness and determining the top 5 battlers in Summer Madness history and who was the king of Summer Madness up to this point. Had a really good time doing all these. You guys are showing a lot of love on the battle records, which I will do more of when they announce the rest of the fucking card. But until they do that, even though we're 10 days out of SM with 3 battles announced, it's ridiculous. Until they do that, which I will be doing battle records, this will be the last little piece of SM content. And very similar, I did a King of Gnome video describing the top 5, which also did pretty good. And it's just, it's good to look back and say, we always talk about memorable moments on SM, the most memorable. Lux's third versus Cal, Surf's third versus Hitman, and all these career-defining moments and when stars were born. But who actually are the best battlers in the event's history? Who are the top 5? So as I do with these lists, I'm going to start out with a little section of some honorable mentions. I got about 3 or 4 today, and then we'll get right into the top 5. But without further ado, let's get right into the honorable mentions for the list. So just to kick off here with the honorable mentions, I got 3 of them here. I actually took a name out. But to start out, I got Reed Dallas, and that one might catch some people off guard, being that especially in SM11, him and Mook just stunk up the place. Their battle was terrible. But if you view it as a full, he has 3 battles on SM. First one was Rex on SM7. We all know that SM7 is probably the worst SM, in my opinion, the worst SM of all time. But him versus Rex is actually one of the better battles, and that has a lot to do with Reed. That's when he started catching more about playing right into the pockets, the flow pockets, and the performance, and I thought he was really good versus Rex. Won that battle clear. Not the craziest performance, but definitely solid. And then on SM10, he battled Rum Nitty, and we all know best win of Reed's career, one of the biggest upsets in just battle rap history, beating Rum Nitty in the caffeine-style room, small room setting. And his real talk, that battle was at the height. It looked like a new invented Reed that had found himself. He'd taken a few battles. You saw flashes of it versus Shine, Surf, and he was able to put it together. And to get a win, a clear win on Rum Nitty, is just a career accomplishment, really, for anybody in the sport. So to do it on one of the biggest stages, a Summer Madness 10, definitely huge. And then there's the Mook battle. But on paper, even though the Mook battle's terrible, some might not like the Rex battle, even though I thought he did good. To beat T-Rex, Rum Nitty, and Murder Mook, that's a crazy 3. And maybe it's the Reed fan in me, but that's why I added him to the list. And that gets us into our second honorable mention, which is T-Top. And T-Top just has a solid resume. Rex, Av, Iron Solomon, B-Dot. 4 very good opponents. Clear win on Rex, SM5. Clear win on Av on SM6, which is probably the peak here. Caught Av in the middle of stride and gave him a dominant clear win. A classic angles, beat-out punching type of moment. And the Iron Solomon battle is but being that it is Iron Solomon, the competition to have a debatable, even in an okay battle, I think deserves some merit. And he did lose to B-Dot clear on SM10, probably holding him from getting possibly onto the top 5. But he was good. That was one of the better battles on that card. So overall, strength of schedule, wins. It's only 4 battles, so you can only get so far, but with 4 battles, he's made the most. That's why he makes the honorable mentions. And that leads us into our 6-man, or right outside the top 5 list, honorable mention. Got to flip the notes real quick. We got all the resumes here. And that is John Dodon, coming right outside the top 5. And if you look at his resume, John has 7 Summer Madness appearances. That is a lot of Summer Madness appearances, probably, I believe, top 3 all time. Top 4, definitely in that vicinity. So you would think just off of that, he's been on SM this many times. It's kind of shocking for all the hate John gets. And he definitely has moments here. The Hitman Classic on SM2. The Hollow Dodon battle, which they main evented in SM8, even though the quality of that battle is in question. And that's kind of the problem here, is that while John has a dope resume, Hitman, Verb, Mr. Wavy, Hollow, Goods and Clips in the 2v2 on Summer Impact, Ill Will, and Surf. It's a lot of great names, but the quality isn't there per battle. He died versus Ill Will. He died versus Sue Surf. So that's back-to-back. That's the most recent SMs. Hollow, while he did main event, and I have him winning, quality of that battle is questionable. The Verb battle, he lost in an Ucky battle. So the Mr. Wavy body is great. It is Mr. Wavy, though. The Hitman Classic is great, but when you have 7 appearances, that can't account for everything. And the 2v2 is just good. So 7 appearances, kind of a staple of SM, which is funny, like I said, considering the kind of how people treat John in this culture. But just not enough to make the top 5. And he is my last honorable mention, which means that now we can get into the top 5 SM battlers of all time. So, starting at the number 5 spot, we have Geechee Gotti. In the run that he's had, just really back-to-back-to-back, Summer Madness 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Summer Madness 9 being Summer Impact. So it's all recent work, but obviously Geechee got the push, was amazing, and got a bunch of these plates. So it's no surprise to have his name up here. And we start out with Shotgun Shug, which is a 3-0 body bags, which is a great debut for SM. One of the better showings on SM7. I know I've said that a few times. SM7 wasn't that great, but there was a handful of 4 to 5 guys that really performed well on that card. Then SM8, him versus Rum Nitty can't go down in London, but it's recorded and played to the crowd. Very, very, very good battle. Kind of that caffeine era type of room setting before we obviously came into the COVID era. So 2-0 so far. Summer Impact comes. He's the 2v2 versus NWX with Rum Nitty. That battle, as I spoke on beforehand, is a classic. And then what's holding him from shooting up the list is he gets top comp here versus Clips and Calico on SM10 and 11, but the quality of battle is a little bit up for question. In SM10, I do have him beating Clips, but a lot of people have Clips, but I think they have him winning on the app due to his third round freestyle, where he does have the moment of the third that takes it away, but he chokes, and then you can't just look over that. I know people want to. It's Clips, but no, can't. So he did lose that battle, but Clips definitely beat him in the first. Really wasn't the greatest Geechee all the way around. Had him winning. And then versus Calico, I actually had him winning originally. Recently, I just did the Calico battle record. And for those of you that saw it, I did have Calico edging Geechee as I watched it again recently. Still think it's a debatable battle. I don't think that there is a clear loss up here for Geechee, but SM10 and SM11, a couple debatables that just didn't really go his way with the public. He is winning on the app versus Cal, but they're two true debatable battles, and a lot of people kind of have him losing clear to Cal. So I think recently motivation, he was writing for Lux, played into it a little bit, but dope. 5 battles, but if you're going to have 4 or 5, they need to all be bangers, and the quality just lacks a little bit as he got towards the top tier competition. So that's why I have Geechee Gotti at number 5 on the list, and we're going to go just right into number 4, and that will be a battle that we just talked about before, Charlie Clips. I have Charlie Clips at number 4 on the best SM battlers list, which is kind of crazy. Thought I would have Clips higher when I ended up actually shooting and recording the list. Or not shooting, recording, when I started ordering the list, I thought of all the names, and Clips popped up. And that's because Clips has 2 of the best wins ever in battle rap history, and they're both on SM. SM1, he murders Verb, and then SM4, murder really isn't a good enough word to say what he did for T-Rex in Summer Madness 4. In my opinion, that may be the biggest body bag in battle rap history. It's definitely in that conversation. And those are 2 guys that are considered prime legends at the time. I don't think that we knew that Rex was cooked when he got cooked versus Clips. And Verb, obviously, SM1, that's prime Verb, and that win did wonders for Clips' career. But Sirius Jones battle, solid, somewhat debatable battle. They both have moments where they're kind of but there's quotables. The stretch marks came from this, so you can only count it down so much. But the problem is there's not that many appearances. He actually kind of disappears after SM5, where he battles Lux. And losing to Lux is really what keeps him down here. If that battle was debatable, age better for him, or if he won that battle, might be talking about Clips at number 1, but we obviously know that really didn't play in his favor. Your father's a snitch too. He looked kind of crazy. And that leaves us with the Geechee Gotti battle, which we talked about, which I have him losing, even though some people have him winning. Talked about it, the choke. Not a terrible showing, so it doesn't knock him down too much. And then the double impact versus Hitman and JJ. I have it written as JJ. Hitman and John. Clips' ISO third is good, but nothing too crazy. Still a good battle, but that card was full of classics. So complete resume, but a couple losses here is why I have Clips at number 4 on the list. So we crack into the top 3 here, and at number 3, we have none other than Tay-Rock. 8 SM appearances on his name, with SM12 coming up, which is second most all-time in battle rap history. And it just really speaks for itself here. We did Tay-Rock's battle record, so obviously you guys know I have a lot of praise here, but I'll quickly go over it again for those that didn't. Ill Will, DNA, Calico, Hollow to Don, Hitman Holla, Pat Stay, rest in peace to the great Pat Stay, Loaded Hollows, so Lux and Hollow, and then obviously has Swamp coming up. So full and very a lot of variety in the resume in terms of the different opponents. To have a DNA, a Hitman, then an Ill Will, go take a Pat Stay, now Swamp coming up. Goes to show Rock never ducks smoke. And he has just some classic quotables and wins here. We look at the battles like Ill Will and DNA. In my opinion, I had him beating Hollow to Don kind of clear. I think if some of you watched that back, if you had Hollow, you may change your opinion, but Regardless, that's a classic performance. And then you get into some battles here, like the Loaded Hollows and Calico battle, which are both considered classics as well. Extremely debatable, extremely just high quality. Now, the only thing that holds Rock down at 3 is that there is a couple other people on this list, that and it does, and I'm just going to actually reveal number 2. What holds him back is the fact that one of the clearest loss he has on here is to the number 2 battler, which is Hitman Holla at the runner-up spot on the list. There was really no way to explain it without obviously revealing who I have up there. And the difference here between a resume like Hitman and Rock's and why I have Rock at 3 opposed to Hitman at 2 is when it comes down to it, Rock has 2 losses here to Pat Stay, which was a really good battle, but I did have him losing clear. And then he battled Hitman head-to-head, and that was a gentleman's 30, one of the more dominant wins that Hitman has in his catalog. And for Hitman to add to that, he has the Shine battle, clear win, top performer of all time title up for grabs, and he kind of dominated Shine in that aspect. A lot of people have that as a 30. The Hollow battle is not very good. Quality-wise, SM1 with the handhelds. So there's just not really a lot to talk about that, whether you have him winning or losing. I do have him losing the battle. I think a few people, the consensus, have him losing, but very just strange battle. John's a classic. Surf, most viewed battle of all time. I did have him losing clear. Did have him losing the second and third clear, so he's not absolved of losses here, but to lose to Surf in a battle it's that great, have a legendary first, it's not the same as opposed to how Rock lost to Pat or Rock lost to Hitman. And then from the, like I said, John, Shine, Rock, and then a great performance versus Surf, and then the 2v2 versus Clips and Goods, kind of have him and John winning that battle. But yeah, this all comes down to the head-to-head matchup. And when you have not just a battle where I kind of edged Hitman, a battle where Hitman clearly kind of almost felt like showed a level on Rock, it's just a hard debate to make. So I do have Tay-Rock at the number 3 spot in the list, and at the runner-up spot, I do have Hitman Holla. And now to get into the number 1, the battler, some of you might have guessed that I think is the best in Summer Madness history. And this number 1 pick, you guys probably knew before you clicked on the video, maybe even by the title of it, but I do have Calico as Mr. Summer Madness as the best battler in SM history, and it's just become a part of his brand. Calico's name is synonymous with this event, starting from SM1, Math Hoffa, Body Bag, SM2, one of the more classic battles ever, and the only loss I actually have him taking on SM, 2 Loaded Lux. And even then, I do think that people try to play him, even though I do have him losing the second and the third. He clearly won the first, obviously, with the choke. And his second is not that bad until he hits the Proctor bar, throws him off a little, but it's really not a bad round. So you could make fun, but it is Lux. There's worse losses to take. And then from there, Rex, clear win. Rock, classic. SM6, dip in quality, but I did have him edging Briz. Battle's a little bit better over time, I think, in the building. Some of the mic issues killed it, but that battle is another little dip, and then a clear win over Averb on SM10, where he was amazing. Versus Geechee, I had him winning. A lot of people have him winning clear. I don't think it's a clear battle, but great performance versus Geechee. And now on SM12, he is easy to block captain. I can't wait. As I said in the beginning, they just won't drop the rest of this card. When they do, guys, I'm going to have a full prediction video out as soon as I can. We're obviously 10 days from the event, so I won't have much time to bounce back and record, but I really, really want to. So that is a humongous matchup coming up. Outside of that, as you saw here, there's body bags, there's clear wins over legends, there's debatables with up-and-coming great battlers of the new era. There's just so much variety here, classics, replay. This man has the most appearances in SM history with 9, which is just, everything here just points towards the fact that when it's SM time, it's Calico time, and that is the reason that I have Calico as, living up to the name of Mr. Summer Madness and being the best battler in Summer Madness history. And with all that being said, that is the end of my list of the top 5 battlers in SM history. You guys let me know, who do you think is the best battler in SM history, or who do you think is just underrated? I think I'm going to see a lot of Calicos when I ask who's the best, but who do you think is underrated on SM? I obviously introduced names to the table like Reed and T-Top in the honorable mentions. If you guys have a sleeper pick like that, let me know in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe as always. I've had a lot of fun making this SM content. I can't wait to do the recaps. Hopefully some more battle records as well, as the rest of the card drop. So Dope stuff. Had fun covering this, and I just can't wait to see what SM12 brings, for the good, for the bad. I know there's been a lot of news in battle rap, politics, and budget, but I still think SM12 can be great through all of that. Has a great top 3 and even a decent bottom 3. I think we'll bring this whole card together. But it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.